Hi everyone! Welcome to another episode of GTV. So, maraming nagtatanong sa amin when it comes to like marketing strategies, like ano ba yung mga best practices. And recently, when I was viewing like LinkedIn, this video popped out. So this video is by my friend Miggy Azurin. So Miggy is our guest today, and it was about inbound marketing, no? So, Miggy, before we go to the questions, no, or the main part of this interview, so can you introduce yourself and your company?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me, Ginger. I like to just take this chance to say that I'm a fan of what you do for your mommy blog and Taxumo, and Manila Workshop. So super happy to be here. I am the managing partner of Huskee Digital. We're an inbound marketing agency. We're also HubSpot certified, so we're just a handful of HubSpot certified agency partners here. We specialize primarily in lead generation for B2B businesses and e-commerce. So that's primarily the kinds of clients that we typically work with.
Okay, sige. So let's get straight to the point, no, Miggy. What is inbound marketing, and how is it different from the other marketing terms that we know of or we see, no?
Yeah, so I really like answering this question because when I talk about it, the some of the looks that I get, it para siyang okay, another jargon na naman, namang klaseng jargon yan, di ba? But in reality, when I start to explain it and I point out to people, how it works, they realize that it's something that you see very often, and it's just that you coin it as inbound marketing. So very simply, inbound marketing is a business methodology. It's more of like a mindset, a way of doing things, and its central parang premise is being able to attract the right customers by creating valuable content just for them. You can see this difference very clearly with how some people or some businesses will market their products, right? So in the old days, more businesses would engage in outbound marketing. And that's in the form of flyering, cold sales pitches, yung mga cold emails, diba? Or yan, yung favorite ko yung mga nag-message randomly on LinkedIn, just selling a product that they might not know, diba? If
Yes.
I need or not.
Ang dami
Yeah,
kong
yun. And yeah, diba? So it's usually it's usually real estate or yung mga financial products, diba? But yeah, I've seen so many other businesses kind of do that. And the problem with that is it's not contextualized and it's not personal. We're really living in a time where people have so many choices, and they're no longer easily sold by people who just randomly come up to sell them products. So that's the outbound way of thinking. Inbound goes the other way, right?
Okay.
Because you're positioning yourself as an expert in your field. You're positioning yourself as someone who knows the industry in and out. You're attracting people to come to you instead.
Mm-mm.
So instead of being the pushy salesperson, you're more like a teacher, right? Or a thought leader where you're talking about your product. And this in return creates trust and helps you build relationships in the long run. So inbound marketing is just basically that. It's that premise that, okay, instead of pushing out my product in a very uh, cold way, how can I attract the right people to come to me so that I can build relationships with them? Yun, that's basically inbound marketing in like a top level.
So Miggy, like how is it different? I'm sure a lot of people like you mentioned content, diba? So content as a main driver for attracting people. So how is it different like from content marketing? And also like we know of like search engine optimization, diba? A lot of people like research about that as well. Is there
Yeah.
something is that part of inbound marketing, or how is it like even related to that if it's related?
Yeah, so that's actually a really interesting point because content marketing and SEO, a lot of the things that make that successful is the mindset that I'm trying to create an experience for the customer or for my audience. I'd say companies that do content marketing and SEO really well are the ones that know their audience the most, right? So let's say, for example, in the context of content marketing, if you're going to be successful there, you're creating videos and blogs and static images that you know your customers like. It's not, you're not creating it for yourself, you're creating it for other people. Very similar to SEO. So as you know, Google rewards really nice websites. It rewards websites that have the keywords that people are looking for. And again, there's a lot of empathy required to do SEO well, because again, you're not building it for yourself here, you're building it for the experience of other people.
Correct.
And that's the spirit of inbound marketing. So yeah, so that's exactly what I mean. You see it in all of these small things.
Okay.
But I'd say that inbound marketing really is just like the holistic view.
Okay.
It's taking all of those small marketing activities, putting them together so that they work together. That's the other misconception naman, that you don't have to have them all synchronized. Diba? Inbound is two things. It's personal, highly personal, but systematic. You have all of these pieces moving together to work in harmony to deliver your message.
Oh, got it. Okay, got it. No, so these two are sort of like little parts of like one whole big picture, which is like inbound
Yes.
marketing.
Yes.
Okay,
Exactly.
for inbound marketing, is it for every type of business, or is there like a particular kind of industry or a particular kind of business that should get into inbound marketing, or are there like are there like certain industries now who should get into this?
All right. I very passionately believe that every business has to have inbound marketing. And it sounds like common sense, because it is. I mean, being respectful of people's time, understanding your customer, these are some of the things that we're being taught across, business schools, and people who are learning who are picking up businesses for the first time.
Right.
This is a 101 foundational concept.
Mhm.
It's just that many businesses, they talk a big game, but turning it into actual processes and action, it gets lost in translation. So in terms of the spirit of inbound, which is being personalized and systemizing the way that you're marketing, it doesn't matter what kind of business you're in or how big or small you are, you will benefit from that kind of thinking. Now, what differs na lang siguro is the degree of systems and integrations you have in place. Like obviously, let's say for example, if I were just let's say I'm a small business, I'm selling yung mga ube in a jar. Right? I love ube. You're selling just that. You can have an inbound approach work for you. I mean, obviously, you don't need all of the big fancy tools that most corporations might have, but you can benefit from having some of those activities. Now, similarly, across the other side of the spectrum, if you're a large enterprise, you will also benefit from having an inbound marketing approach by having it very systemized and making sure pa nga, like yung challenge pa nga ng mga bigger companies is making sure that it's not just the marketing department that has good interactions with the customer. Diba? You have your sales and your service and your after sales servicing teams, diba?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so now that you mentioned like systems, no, like if I'm a small business owner, and I'm sure a lot of people who are watching are like SMEs,
Yeah,
MSMEs, no, in the Philippines. Um, the first question is budget, diba? That's why like a lot of people go like, mag-Facebook ads na lang ako kasi like parang
of
40
course.
pesos or something, diba? So, kasi meron lang ako like 5,000 pesos to spare. So, I think which leads me also to the question na, aside from budget, like, how do I get started if I want this, no? Assuming I already have that mindset. Now, obviously, I need to know my customers. I really know them already, but then I have the limitations like budget. I don't know where to start, possibly, right there. So, what can we give them as advice?
Okay. Um, I would look at the delivery of your inbound marketing campaigns in kind of two halves, and there are two halves that work simultaneously. The first one is content creation. You need a system to help you create content consistently. Okay,
Okay.
so very simply, writing articles, shooting videos, creating in photo posts, anything that can help you create content and create it consistently, that would be good. So let's say, for example, let's say you're a mommy ginger type of business. You will shoot a video like this, and then you will turn it into, let's say, an article, or you will turn it into a summary post in the form of an infographic. Having a system like that makes it easier for you to create content. So that's the first half. Now the second half is distribution. So content distribution. That's also as important, because you can have a really, really good piece of content, but if you won't distribute it to the right people, sayang lang din yung effort, diba?
True.
Now with content distribution, there are typically 4 pillars that a business will want to explore. That's social media platforms, that's your pay-per-click advertising, that's your email marketing, and then that's your blogging capabilities. Most small businesses, they will work their way up like that. Diba? Social media pages first, and then I'll explore my boosting, and then I'll have some sort of email marketing, and then I'll write a blog. Or it could be in different combinations. For a small business, my usual advice is, as always, social media and pay-per-click advertising. It works well already. But the question that I like to throw out to people who tell me that is that, okay, if these 2 platforms are working well for you already, imagine the impact of your business if you were to add a 3rd layer or a 4th layer. For me, a really good marketing campaign is touching on all 4 of those pillars of distribution. Regardless of whether or not you're a small business or a big business, you will benefit from that. And when the argument is thrown that, but I'm already doing really well on 2 of these platforms, and that's good. That's good news. But just imagine the success that you will get once you start scaling up to platform number 3 and platform number 4. It's the whole what's that cliche? The sum of the whole is great. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts, or something like that. yung cliche na yun. And it's exactly that. The more that you add into the system, I would argue, if you do it well, it's an exponential rise for you.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of costs, that's where a lot of my clients always argue with. Kaya ayaw, hindi nila natutuloy yung ibang distribution. I'm happy to say, actually, there are a lot of very inexpensive tools that can help you get that started. So, I mean, obviously, Facebook and Facebook ads, nandiyan na yan. Very cost-efficient way of social media and pay-per-click advertising. So, obviously, that's something
Miggy,
worth keeping.
sorry to cut you, no? Pero what is pay-per-click? Kasi I'm sure marami dyan nagtatanong. Like, I get social media, but what is he talking about? What's pay-per-click? Yeah.
Okay, sure. Sorry. So simply put, pay-per-click advertising, it's the act of running ads on, let's just make it easy, Facebook and Google platforms.
Okay.
So all of the ads that you see on Facebook, on Instagram, on search ads, on YouTube, that's called a pay-per-click advertisement or pay-per-click campaign. Okay. You have companies or individuals like me who are running these pay-per-click advertisements. So for the people who are just sort of familiar, it's boosting. That's the term that people use a lot. Boosting posts.
Yes.
But the real term for it is pay-per-click advertising. Yun yung yung jargon for that.
Yes. Okay, so you were saying about cost. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So inexpensive tools, Facebook and Facebook ads. And then for your blogging and your email marketing, I really like MailChimp. MailChimp is very easy to use. It's free up until 2,000 contacts. So if you're a small business owner, I'm pretty sure you're not hitting 2,000 contacts just yet. You're free to use MailChimp anytime that you want. So it's just a matter of collecting the emails of your customers and then uploading them on MailChimp. And it's I would say it's one of the easiest platforms to use in terms of email marketing. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but eventually it's very easy to pick up, and that's why I recommend it, because it's very helpful for beginners.
Okay.
And then for blogging, you have websites like Wix, where you can come up with a website for your business, or WordPress. So if you're a little bit more of in the advanced stages or intermediate to advanced, WordPress is still very powerful website platform for you.
Mm-mm.
Or if you're in the range where, okay, Miggy, I just want simple, diba? Wix.com does the job really well. And then if I may to add, no, I get this a lot din kasi yung tinatanong sa akin, Miggy, do we need a website for my business?
Yeah, oo.
Diba? Facebook, I feel like is the first step. And if you're a small business, I think that works fine for you.
Okay.
But having a website adds a layer of legitimacy to your operations that will really benefit you in the long run. And if if you just look at your own buying behavior, you're going to realize that you have this subconscious bias nga for a website.
Yeah.
So if you're selling small items lang, like food or clothing, if the Facebook and Instagram account works for you, then by all means just continue doing that. But I feel like the higher the price point, the more you're going to need a website just to have that layer of legitimacy for your customers.
Okay. All right. So, what if, Miggy, kunwari, I'm a business owner and I don't have like skills in terms of like copywriting or writing at all
In
in
general.
general, in
Yeah.
general. So, what do I do? Like, how do I go about it? Like, Facebook kasi I can just like add emojis and then pictures. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, is that important? Like, is that an important thing?
Um, my philosophy has always been, I think copywriting is one of the most important marketing skills, if not the most important. And if you're in a position where you can't say that you're good at that, personally, I would really recommend that you start, practicing.
Mm-mm.
Just because I think writing as a skill, copywriting rather, as a skill is just too valuable not to work on if you're in a marketing role. Now, if you don't want to be able to do that, there are some people who talk better than they write.
Yeah.
And I think that's me. I'm in that category. I think I talk better than I write. You can easily just pull out your camera and shoot a video. Right?
Yeah.
What what I really like about the marketing environment now is that we've fully embraced the candid. It's not weird anymore to follow a celebrity or a brand
Correct.
where they're literally just videoing themselves with taking a selfie with their camera. That's it. Like we've completely embraced it, and I love it so much. Wala na yung kino-curate mo pa, or it has to be super nice, diba?
Yeah.
Like there's still space for that.
Parang
But the
production level.
general, yeah. I mean, diba, I'd love to still have the production level stuff, but our level of acceptance of just the candid is just, it's so nice to see.
Mm-mm.
And if anything, that should give people the freedom to really just put themselves out there, diba? And to video themselves.
Yeah.
I really like this quote that I forget who said it. I just saw it on an Instagram page that I follow. It went something in the lines of, your luck increases just by telling people what you do.
Yeah.
Very, very
True.
powerful, right? Just by telling people what you're doing actively, telling them what you're passionate about, telling them what you're up to, you increase the luck coming your way. Especially if you're a pleasant person. If you're not a pleasant person, baka magano pa yan, mag-backfire pa sa'yo yan.
Di
Yeah,
pala
but yeah,
positive
so
yung
di pala positive, nagano pa, like naging unlucky pa sila. um, but yeah, copywriting, I think integral marketing skill.
Yeah.
That's almost a non-negotiable for me if you're a marketer. But again, if it's not something that you want to pick up, I think just being able to speak about something, and just talk about what you're doing, I think that's more than enough already.
Yeah. So, tama, no? Ako, I would agree with you that it's something that you should really study, no? So, maybe put it in
Mm.
your bucket list or checklist for the year. It
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
have to be like really good writing, no? But at least try and possibly see what works, diba? What's effective in terms of like getting to your audience, diba? So, ano ba yung
Yeah.
effective na language or tone or like how you write, diba? That conveys the message. And speaking of like conveying message and being effective, if I do all of these things that you mentioned, Miggy, no, when do I know that I've become Parang, when does it become effective? Like, how do I know that I'm doing a good job?
Okay, that's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
When I lay out marketing campaigns for my clients, I like to categorize victories or success in two lists. We
Mm-hmm.
have our quick wins, and then we have the long term revenue that we're looking at, or the long term wins. The goal for me always as a marketing person is to set up my clients for the long term wins. Meaning my goal always when I'm coming into a situation is I want to build you a system that's going to outlast me
Mm-hmm.
and ensure that you're going to continue seeing results 3, 6, 9, 12 months down the road.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm all about. Because if your marketing is not that sustainable, if it's not going to give you that kind of returns, it's not worth doing it.
Mm-hmm.
People like to think that marketing is a magic pill, and overnight you'll be rich. If that were the case, I'd be super rich right now. Kasi all my clients mayaman na sana, 'di ba?
Oh.
But unfortunately, it's a longer term game than most people will give it credit for. But I also recognize that the motivation aspect also of some people is that they want to be able to see the quick wins. 'Di ba? There's that part then of our psyche that we want to feel like there's progress being made. So I also like we call it in my team like internally, let's get a quick win for our client right now. Like what are the quick wins that we could do?
Yeah.
And the quick wins come from the things that we measure in terms of the campaigns that we do. So let's say, for example, we're going to launch this initiative where we want the customers of our client to download an ebook on their website. Diba? So
Correct.
that's the big goal. We will chop that campaign into, let's say, 3 or 4 phases. And each
Mm.
phase, we're just going to focus on 1 or 2 quick wins. So it's like a sprint of like 2 to 3 weeks. And
Okay.
that quick wins could be, for example, we hit 100,000 video views first, or we were able to set up the back end and start tracking data. Um, Having that approach, especially with your inbound marketing, I think is super important. So, just to put it in the context, inbound marketing is a long-term game because
Yeah.
marketing is a long-term game. Marketing is relationship building, and you don't become a best friend of someone after a day. It's after conversation after conversation, and then you learn to trust someone.
True.
So your marketing has to set you up for that. That's the big goal for inbound marketing, the long-term relationships that you're building.
Mm.
Now, also understand the motivation aspect of yourself where you're going to need these quick wins. And the quick wins are always the small actions that people will take with my business. So let's say, for example, going back to what I was mentioning earlier, they watched my video, they went to my website. I was finally able to release my blog articles, diba? Pinpointing what those wins are is
Yeah.
really important because you get a sense that there's progress.
Yeah.
And as long as you keep on working on this regularly, you're going to start seeing that long-term progress that I was mentioning about. I like to think that great things are just good things that you do repeatedly.
True.
You just need to do something good for a really really long time before it becomes great. And it's the same thing with your marketing effort. So my advice to business owners, be patient. If it were that easy, we'd all be rich. But the fact is, it takes a while. And I actually like to, ang dami kong analogy, no? Ang dami kong time to think. This is really like a health thing. Diba? This is like
Yeah.
a health thing. If you want to be fit, you don't go to the gym 1 month and expect that, oh, fit ka na forever.
True.
Diba? It's like a whole lifestyle change. And if you want the sustainable weight loss, you have to have the sustainable habits. You can't just do the crash diet and expect na, ito na lang ako forever, diba? It
Yeah.
might work to some extent, but after that, you gain the weight back. It's the same thing with marketing. You can have those really, really short bursts of success. Okay, diba? I won't take that against you, but being able to repeat that again and again and again, that's hard to do. So
Yeah.
better to put into context that this is a long-term game, and I need to be able to have the endurance to make that last.
Yeah. And I think no, when it comes to like discussing about the long-term game, it's really looking at the successes that you've gotten or that you've made, no, and then those are the things that you prolong. Kasi ang
Yes.
nangyayari, like sometimes I've seen like a lot of businesses, for example, if I identify this particular marketing strategy as something that I want to experiment on, and then I figured out after like let's say 2 weeks that it failed, pilit pa rin natin ginagawa yung
Yeah.
failure strategy na yun,
Yeah, yeah,
hindi
yeah.
na umuubra guys eh. 'Di ba? So,
Guilty as charged.
'di ba? I think that's also one of the things that I've noticed some businesses do. Now, just because this is the only thing that I know, example, Facebook, I've seen that it doesn't hit my objectives. I still do it after I know that it's a failure because it's the only thing that I know. Like, 'di ba? When
Yeah, yeah.
experimenting. So, ganon. But tama si Miggy when it comes to consistency. When, especially if you find out if you found out that basically this strategy is really effective for your business, and don't worry, no, like marketing, tama yung sinasabi mo eh, marketing is basically just experimenting on different things, no? That's
Mm-hmm.
why,
Mm-hmm.
like, that's why Miggy mentioned all of these things for you to experiment on, because he cannot tell you like, oh, this is the best way to go, like do
Yeah.
this and not this, or do this and this. So it's really about experimenting, moving
And,
forward. So
and
speaking
I think that's
go
the
ahead.
sorry, chime in lang
Yeah,
din
go
there.
ahead. Yeah.
I think that's also the misconception of my job. Um, I have the best case practices, but sometimes the best case practices won't work for your business.
Mm-mm.
And tama ka eh, it's part of what makes my job fun is that I'm always testing, I'm always iterating that I think I'm right for about 3 weeks and a half, and after that I'm not right anymore. Diba? So it's not for the faint-hearted, but that's exactly how it works. Eh? Like even for someone like me, I've been doing this a couple of years. You know, I've spent hundreds and thousands of ad budget already. I've set up all of these campaigns. Even now, I'm still making these mistakes, and a part of me just finds the fulfillment in that. Eh. You know, just experimenting again and again. Hindi ako nadadala sa failing. I mean, just because I think I understand I understand that better than most people, that
Yeah.
it's part of the job. It's part of marketing. Like you're
Yeah.
not gonna get it. You aim to get it right more than you get it wrong. And at the end of the day, that makes a great marketing initiative. But that
Yeah.
you're more right than you're wrong. And I'll take that anytime.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's true. So speaking of like challenges that happen. So for example, I'm sure you did a lot of like planning for your clients, no? And this thing happened, no? This big
Oh yeah.
whole pandemic happened. So what are the changes that you've seen in terms of like inbound marketing, and what possibly like what tips or advice would you give like our small business owners who are watching?
Okay, so very interesting. So I hosted a webinar yesterday, and one of the things that I was super happy to share with them was some of the numbers that HubSpot shared with us. So a little context for your watchers. HubSpot is a software company. They have a CRM and a set of CRM and marketing and sales tools. So basically, their customers are people like me, B2B, and then they're able to see all of the activity that I have when I'm registering leads, when I'm coming up with marketing activities. And then the data that I shared yesterday, it showed two really interesting stories. So
Okay.
across the entire world, across 70,000 customers of HubSpot, the amount of deals being generated and being closed are down significantly, as
Oh,
much as 30-40%. So obviously everyone is hit really hard, diba?
yeah.
There's not a lot of business being closed. But the other half of the story, and what I thought was super interesting, was there's a huge increase. Kung ano yung decrease ni sales, there's a huge increase in email marketings being sent out, in emails being opened, and conversations being had.
Okay.
So the insight that I shared yesterday was, yeah, sales are going down, but relationship building, it's at an all-time high. And that's the whole premise of my initiative with my company. Like, we also recognize that na okay, sales are going to be down across almost every industry.
Yeah.
But what's not going to be down and what's uso ngayon is relationship building eh.
Yeah.
And if you think that when, ito na, pag na-lift na si ECQ, tapos nasa ano na tayo, nasa modified ECQ pala tayo. Whatever kung anong combination ng ECQ, fortified with calcium na tayo after X. Whatever combination, whatever maisip na lang term. We're not gonna be picking up from where we left off eh. It's not like we're gonna return back to normal, diba? We're facing at least an 8 to 10 month window where it's going to be bad.
That's true.
And what we're seeing with our clients and with other businesses that we're following is that there's a shift now from selling 100% to allocating those resources to relationship building. So there are so many businesses ngayon, now they're doubling down on relationship building kasi that's the only thing that you could do at this moment eh.
Yeah.
So for your audience, yung mga business owners watching, consider that I understand, okay, sales is a problem right now. It's a problem for everyone. But that's not going to change anytime soon eh.
That's true.
Diba? But what you can influence is the amount of effort that you're doing to build relationships at this time, where you follow nga that whole inbound approach of being extremely personal with people, diba? You try to really get to know them and their business and being systematic about it. Yun, so if you shift your attention to that, I feel like you're building yourself up for more wins, this coming year. You have to accept na talaga na it's not gonna get back to normal. Your business and the way that it was operating before, it's going to change. Whether or not you like it or you're fine with it. And that's why you have to, kind of redo some of the things that you're doing, especially in the marketing and sales aspects, and look at this time to invest more on relationships than in selling. Kasi yung advice that I'm giving to my clients also, it's that. Let's be on the defensive end ngayon. Let's build capacity, let's build content, let's build relationships. And then when things start to normalize, dun tayo babawi. That's where we're going. That's where our the fruits of our labor are going to come up in the longer run. Kasi this is this is like a long-term thing.
Yeah. Miggy.
If you're only planning, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking, like parang building capacity and all of the things that you're saying. Is like customer service part of inbound marketing? Like I'm sure like people are saying now na like sige, 'di ba, we attract people to come to us. So like a small business, should I hire already for like customer service, or should I hire people to answer yung needs netong mga people na to who are or potential customers? Is it part of inbound marketing?
Yes. So the last step of inbound marketing actually is your customer service part. And that's one of the main philosophies of HubSpot, that or the people HubSpot was the one who coined inbound marketing, no? That's one of their main philosophies, that the customer is important from the very beginning when you're just meeting them all the way to the very end, as they're now a customer of your business. So you still have to have that customer service in play right now. And I think ngayon is especially important, especially since now you see that everyone's an online business now. I don't know anyone who doesn't have an online business
Yes.
at this point in time. And what's going to win there talaga is, if it's not your product, it's just an excellent customer service. There are some businesses that are able to attract and retain their customers even by having an objectively, inferior na product, because they have great customer service. And I don't know about you, Ginger, but when I look at my own parang loyalty to some brands or some businesses, I'm aware that I'm not getting the best product in the market. But I'm so happy with my current provider because of the service that they're providing me, that I don't mind. Alam mo yun? Kasi for me, it's not so much sometimes the full capacity of the product. It's just the feeling that I'm being taken care of.
Yeah.
And for me, especially for some of the more important purchases like my condo or my laundry, diba?
So,
It's more important for me to feel like I'm taken care of than the quality of the product.
that's true. So, so I guess that's another thing that they should think of also, no? So, building that. Pero before they get to that, I'm assuming na parang they should at least have that customer journey or draw or have like a file
Yes.
wherein they place their customer journey para alam nila when basically where can I build the relationship or when can I build the relationship, when can I like
Yes.
give further details and at the end, no, maybe this is the time when I close the deal, diba? So, yeah,
Yes.
isip ko lang yun nga na parang part nga pala ng ng inbound marketing talaga ang customer service. So, dun sa mga sinabi mo, Miggy, so I'm assuming that a lot of small businesses right now, kasi they have a lot of things to think of, no? Like, for
Yeah.
one, let's say product, digitizing their product because I'm still offline. I have a brick and mortar, let's say, business that
Yeah.
I have to shift online. And then now I don't know where to get. Syempre, I also have to think of revenue. So where do I get revenue? So getting to customers, marketing, sales, all of these things. I also have to deal with HR, wherein like I think about like syempre, my employees, no, syempre, their livelihood, their jobs, diba? So I have so many things to think of. In terms of like inbound marketing or marketing in general, no, and let's say setting up operations, when is the perfect time to focus now on marketing? Kasi I'm assuming na parang I don't know if this is the right steps that I have to take, but I'm assuming obviously I have to digitize it first and then get people
Mm-hmm.
to come in. So when do I say that, hey, this is the right time to now market or like get the word out and spread the word about my product?
Okay, that's a great question.
Mm.
And I'm happy that you brought that up kasi I think a lot of the things that we talked about right now, they might resonate with some businesses more than others. Internally, we've categorized our clients and our future prospects into three sets. We call them the thrive companies, the adapt companies, and the survive companies.
Okay.
Yung thrive companies, these are your e-commerce businesses.
Mm.
These are your logistics companies that naging success pa nila yung tong pandemic na to. Diba? That suddenly now they're in the limelight and great for them. So for them, obviously, I'd say a lot of the reason why they're thriving right now is because they had some backbone of marketing already.
Yeah.
And it allowed them to take advantage of this. So it's just the perfect situation for them to kind of to thrive, diba? And
konti
if
na
they're
lang no? Parang ganun.
yeah, exactly. So nandun na, you have the chance na. And if you're a thrive company right now listening, again, now's the time for you to do that kasi I feel like your inbound marketing efforts will yield you more results faster than other companies. And then you have the adapt companies. I would say companies like I think like you and me, no, na yeah, we're kind of operating pa, but we're hit with by this, but we can't complain kasi may ano pa naman, may konting business albeit small, 'di ba? Or albeit at a smaller capacity. So I think we stand the chance to really earn from inbound marketing because I don't know where you guys are at, Ginger, no, but like for us, suddenly we have time. And our problem always was with our own marketing, parang, we don't have time kasi ang daming servicing, ganyan, project. Diba? But now, parang, 50% of our time suddenly freed up. So now we're taking advantage of the time to adapt nga. And I think now is a really good time kasi once our operations start to stabilize, we'll start to see our results. So kami more tayo, diba? More short term tayo. In the next couple of months pa natin mararamdaman yung ano natin. Now for the survive companies, and I think these are the companies that you were describing earlier, yung more they're really all over the place lang right now. I would focus just on just trying to survive at this point. To give you some context, so let's say for example ngayon my mom kasi she's in a travel business, so she has an agency. So obviously hit extremely hard. Nothing at all. And instead of, getting down about it, my mom being the entrepreneur, now she's selling other products, diba? And I think that's the right mindset kasi in the absence of an alternative, so let's say for example, events companies, I'm seeing a lot of events companies now turn into like online webinars, my online training,
Mm-hmm.
great, diba?
Yeah.
But in the absence of like an online twist,
Yeah.
you're really gonna have no choice right now but to pivot hard doing something else,
That's true.
especially for survive companies. So for survive companies, don't look at your marketing first. Just look at the core of your business. Yun yung kailangan una. Like that's the biggest fire that you need to put out because you might not be able to even make it out enough faster to be able to do the marketing efforts that we talk about, diba?
Yeah.
Yun, and if that entails an online pivot, very similar to events management, then I would take that pivot already. Don't second guess it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's in a constant, and if it's in the context of, ayun nga, like you can't have an alternative to an on, you can have an online component of this. It's very hard to say, but you have to really consider if this is something that you want to still continue, diba? Or you want to be able to sell other things. In the case of my mom, because very lean yung team niya, they can
Mm-hmm.
afford to kind of wait it out, diba? And
Yeah.
they're all preoccupied now with selling and raising funds and other aspects. So ayun.
That's great. Yeah, very good tips, Miggy, no? Siguro for my last question, what are your other tips na lang, like for businesses who really want to take inbound marketing seriously at this point in time?
All right. I It just goes back to the earlier point that I made. You're gonna have to look at your inbound marketing in two halves, diba? Yung content creation and then yung content distribution. So look at your business and see where you're lacking.
Mhm.
Usually, a good sign that you're on the right track is that if you're lacking either or, diba? You're pretty good at one and the other na lang yung kailangan. It's a bad sign, obviously, if you're bad at both. So you need to work on that as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Um, there are a lot of tools to help you out, but Sir Junior, magpo-plug lang ako. Like,
Yeah,
yung sa
sure,
company
sure.
namin,
Yeah.
we created a free inbound marketing health assessment. Kasi when we launched our campaign, one of the things that we did not anticipate was the number of people who wanted to avail of our free audit. Because we used to give free audits for businesses, and just exactly, we'll just have a conversation with you. We'll look at your
Mm-mm.
content and your distribution to see where you're at. Naging problem pa sa amin was that we suddenly got an influx of people asking for audits. So
Okay.
now you're thinking, okay, hindi to sustainable. I can't talk to 20 people a day. Parang masisira na ako ng ulo, di ba? So it's actually very very timely. We just launched it
Yeah.
yesterday.
Oh my
And
God.
so if you're a business and you want to be able to see what you need to improve on in terms of those two things, you have like a free health check that you can do. So it's like a mini app that we built on our website, 100% free. We won't ask you for your
Wow.
email.
Nice,
Hindi
nice.
ganun yung diskarte namin. So you can take that, and then yung results nun will give you clarity on what to focus on. So if you're high performing, let's say sa content, it will show you which aspects of your distribution you need to focus on instead, and vice versa.
Okay. Nice, nice. So we'll share that. Is that a link to your website, right? It's a link to your
Yes,
website.
yes. It's like
So
it's a tool on our website.
okay, so we'll share that link to Miggy's website on the post or on the show notes below. So avail nyo na yan because I think it's about time that we start somewhere, di ba, when it comes to like
Yes,
inbound
yes.
marketing. So para at least hindi lang tayo parang kung ano lang yung mga naririnig natin, kukopyahin lang natin. It's really more focused and more appropriate for the brand or for our company, di ba? So thank you so much, Miggy. Is there
Yeah.
anything else that you wanna share with them, or do you have like upcoming trainings or something?
So for next week, we have two webinars coming up. Sorry, I'm looking at my calendar.
Yeah, sure.
June 1, we have our webinar for Facebook ads.
Mm-mm.
It's specifically for e-commerce businesses. So if you have an e-commerce component, meaning my online transaction doesn't have to be retail, I
Okay.
think you will benefit from that. That's on June 1. And then on June 4, we have, I think it's a really interesting talk. I call it Metrics That Matter.
Oh wow.
And then we're going to show you all of the marketing data that you need to understand. So if you're a complete beginner and you don't know any of these marketing jargon like impressions,
Yeah.
reach, click-through rate, we'll teach you the basics so that when you look at your own marketing efforts, you know what to take off. Kasi yung problem with, and I think you get this a lot din, no, Ginger, yung
Oo.
they don't know if their campaigns are effective ba or not, diba? Like ano yung
Yes.
nagiging ano niya, like basis niya. So we'll show you how we do our benchmarking. We'll show you some of the easy ways to find out if your campaign is successful. And the best part is both of these things are free. So all of our webinars these next few weeks, it's 100% free
How do
for
they
our
sign up?
customers.
How do they sign up
There's
for
an
that?
event page. There's an
Oh,
event
okay.
page. There's an
In
event page.
Facebook.
Yeah.
In Facebook.
In
Okay.
Facebook. Yeah, yeah.
So
So it's on our
yeah. Sorry, will you share the video? Like if they can't make it? Ganun ba yun? Or
unfortunately we don't share kasi yung deck. We
oh,
share show notes after, pero if you
yeah.
want the full experience, like obviously you want to be able to go to the webinar.
Yeah, so guys, let's go to the webinar. So,
Yeah,
marami pang
sayang.
matututunan. Sayang naman sayang naman. Sige, so thank you so much, Miggy, for guesting
Yeah, thanks.
here.
Thanks,
Okay,
Ginger. Super nice to be here. Thanks
yeah,
again.
thank you. So for everyone who watched, no, thank you so much for sticking it out until the end, no. If you want more videos from GTV, just click, share, subscribe, and click on the notification bell for more videos. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye, guys.